So this is my presentation about the German immigrants, and it's in 1858 to 1918. By me, of course, Carl Russell Desu, also known as the Five Director. Major questions. How many came to Canada? By the year of 1911, 152,000 German settlers were already in the western part of Canada, with also having 7,000 Germans from Russia because of them losing their military exemption. How did the Germans get to Canada, and what did they want to bring with them? Well, it's simple. Germans came from ships and railroads, but once they came to Canada, they were treated by getting called enemy aliens, since the Canadians thought they were the enemy of all the wars going on. They also brought their language with them. Why did they want to come to Western Canada? Well, the reason they wanted to go to the western part of Canada is because there was gold, which was founded in 1858, and which was called the Cariboo Gold Strike. I'll go on with the gold strike later on in the PowerPoint. The reason why, more about why did they want to come to Canada? The reasons Germans came to Canada was because they wanted to be not scared anymore and have no natural disasters, while they have unemployment with persecution. Also, probably because of Hitler. The reason why they felt Canada was a good place to go to is because they wanted freedom, safety, and stability, more new opportunities. The reasons Germans left Germany is because the First World War began, and while most Germans were going to fight in the war, the 7,000 that were at the break of fighting Russia came back since their military exemption was lost. So they wanted to go to Canada to not deal with the conflict of the war, wanting less fear of having to deal with the war without all the natural disasters happening in this war. Here's the primary source. Here's the link if you want to go to it. You'll have to type in there. After the First World War, Germany had huge debts in a costly war for almost 5 years. The reward was empty and the currency they had was losing value, so they went to go to Canada before in 1858, probably because they thought the debts would be bigger and needed more money to pay off the debts if they won. As I promised, the Cariboo Gold Strike. The Cariboo Gold Strike was in Fraser River on the year of 1858, British Columbia. So the Germans came to Canada to go chase after the gold fortune. But then there was another gold strike in 1862, where even more Germans came to British Columbia to get the gold rush treasury. As you can see here, this is not a picture of a German, but I tried to find one. In the Fraser River, German immigration. This is the cruise ship, of course. And this, as I said, is a shipment of Germans on the ship coming from Germany going to Canada. Right here, so railway. This is Germans waiting for the train to go get to the cruise ship, since there's no way that a train can get from Germany to Canada. During the First World War, with German immigration. When Germans were at the war with the United States, people were afraid that Germans would sympathize with Germany instead of the United States and Canada. Many of the Germans that were immigrating to Canada were living in Iwa in the United States, where the American Iwa government wanted everyone to be required to speak English only, which would mean for the immigrants in Iwa to not be able to use their own language, which they would understand more. Some German immigrants stopped with their German culture to be able to feel like they are wanted in America's Iwa. But most went to Canada to be able to speak German and have their German culture without the rules of not being able to do your own things. Also, here are some pictures so you wouldn't get bored sitting around. after the after the First World War, yeah, German immigration then resumed right after the First World War between 1915 to 1935, having 97,000 German-speaking people coming into Canada from Germany, the Soviet Union, Poland, and however you say that place. Once they got to Canada, once they got into Canada, they were treated worse and were called enemy aliens, as I said before. 8,579 were interned behind barbed wire to remove the threat that they were enemies. The 8,579 enemy aliens were in camps all across the country. Then there was 3,138 that were classified as prisoners of war. While the others were civilians, they were also charged with treason and sedation. Even though there was no charge proven, mobs began to attack them and their properties in cities all across the country. Oh yeah, I forgot about the pictures. Sorry. Next slide. German settlements. At the beginning of the early 1880s, Germans were beginning to arrive in Alberta. Large groups were settling in areas around Edmonton, Wetaskiwin, I said that one, and Kamloops. While most Germans were mainly setting up homes throughout the province, later on in 1889 a large settlement was then developed just on the west side of Medicine Hat. But the largest German settlement was in the years throughout 1902 to 1904, where the largest settlement was the Roman Catholic St. Peter and the St. Joseph colonies. Well, now we are on locations where Germans went to settle in. British North America, Ontario, Central Canada, Calgary, Alberta, Quebec, Nova Scotia, Inuit, Saskatchewan, and Halifax. As you can see, the circles in red are the places of German. Here are the sources. First World War, how do you say that? White Pine Pictures, the Canadian Encyclopedia, Backlack, E-Migration, E-Notes, Google Images, War, Museum, and not only Collections Canada. If you want to go check out my other videos, right here is where YouTube will recommend you of a video, and right here is what I would probably suggest you should watch. And right in the middle right here, once it pops up, boom, that's my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. I'm trying to upload more and edit more. Peace out, crafters. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment down below, subscribe for more content. Peace out.